Hello everybody and welcome to this brand new video. I am not entirely sure what I am doing right now. I know what this is supposed to be about. I know what this is gonna be about. I'm just gonna explain it. I did not film a June wrap-up video because I was stuck in my head somewhere and I couldn't. But now it's August. It's actually the 1st of August. I've realized that in June and July, like putting both of those months together, I read 47 books, which is a lot. And if I were to talk about these 47 books, we would be here for hours. So I'm not gonna do that. If you want to see all the books, I'm gonna be posting like a regular post on my Instagram about it. By the time this is up, this will probably already be on the Instagram, so you can just check that out. It's just Vivslittlelibrary over there as well. You probably came from there, so you've probably already seen it. And today I'm just gonna talk about the books that I have either in the physical form or that just stood out to me in general. So I think we're just gonna get into this. We'll start with the first book, I guess. Also, in case you were wondering, I did get a new light ring and it's pretty nice. It's a lot more like stable compared to the one that I had before. But we will get into the books. I think I'm just gonna start with the ones that I have actual physical copies for. So the first one that we're gonna talk about is My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. Now with Tessa Bailey books, I feel like you can either really enjoy them or really not enjoy them. With this one, it was sort of in between, which does not make sense regarding what I just said. Anyways, this was a 3-star read for me. I wasn't really a fan, but it wasn't horribly bad. I enjoyed the romance that was in here. The miscommunication just got me. The way that these two didn't really have the best chemistry in my eyes just bothered me a lot. And what I didn't like about the book was that there was this suspense that you had with figuring out what happened, and I didn't like the main character. It was a whole bunch, but considering that I didn't like a lot of aspects in this book, this was actually pretty fun to read, and yeah. I think that's everything I have to say about this book. Also, I don't remember a lot about it because it's been a while. It's been a while with all of these. Sticking with the romance, we have Love Theoretically. This is the Illumicrate edition of it. I have the Illumicrate edition of the other books by Ali Hazelwood as well, and I'm just obsessed. This might even be my favorite in the series. Just to me, Love on the Brain and The Love Hypothesis were pretty similar, especially since they both had this same I've been in love with you for ages trope that kind of gets a little old sometimes. I really enjoy that most of Ali Hazelwood's books actually have like an ace character in them, and the main characters are what I would say probably all demisexual. I mean, Olive definitely is in the first book, and then with this one I think the main character is also demisexual, and they have this whole subplot with the fake dating where she is actually fake dating his brother because he is an arrow ace and he's just not out, and everybody's just like bugging him about it, and I really enjoyed this subplot of it, and I really like the characters. I felt like they were so relatable. With the physics part of it, I have absolutely no idea. The other two were both biology based, so I at least knew what I was reading about, but with this one I can only imagine that it makes sense because physics is not my strong suit. And I'm already sweating. This is off to an incredible start. Where's my hair clip? Because my hair is bothering me. My hair is currently at a length that it's never been before. I've always had like chin length hair, and it's I understand why I cut it when I was younger. Might actually cut it again. Next up, we have From Luca with Love by Marina Zapata. Anyway, we have this book. So this is not what I expected it to be. I expected this to be another ice hockey romance, which it wasn't. They're both figure skaters in this case. And I expected a kind of douchebaggy male main character, which he was like a cinnamon roll main character wrapped up in a like hard candy shell, I would say. Does that make sense? We have no idea. But I really enjoyed this. This was a 4-star, 3.5-star read for me. It was really good. I honestly have to say that I don't remember everything that was in it. But it was a fun book, and it definitely made me cry, which for a book is always a good sign. Next up, we have the Heartstopper Yearbook, which I don't know if this actually qualifies as a book that I read last month, but I'm gonna put it here anyway because it was incredible. The Heartstopper Yearbook is just a description of every character and what they like and little drawing guides. It's really, really sweet. It has beautiful illustrations. All of Alice Oseman's books have incredible illustrations, obviously, and it just made me happy. This book made me happy. Then, sticking with the graphic novels, actually, we have Hungry Ghost. I saw this book at the bookstore and I was like, okay, I have to pick it up. It's so gorgeous. It is focused around mental health and eating disorders, so if that is a trigger point for you, this might actually trigger you, because the main character is bulimic. This just hit very close to home, and the drawing style was so beautiful, and if you see this anywhere, I can only encourage you to pick this up. What bothered me about this was that the main character, for me, just wasn't relatable in any sense except for the eating disorder part. So the way that she was dealing with her friendships and the way that she was feeling and all the things that she did in the end just didn't sit right with me, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing this? Because to me, that felt very, very strange. But that might just be my personal opinion on this. And then we have a book. This is the last physical copy that I have right now to talk about, and the rest are all digital. But we have Fourth Wing. Now, I already talked about Fourth Wing in this video, so I'm just not going to talk about it again. But Fourth Wing was the perfect book. I enjoyed it a lot. I understand why it's hyped. It deserves all the hype that it gets. And we're now moving on to all of the books that I read on Kindle. So with this, I have decided to only talk about my favorites because I read a lot of books. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Desire or Defense. This is an ice hockey romance that was a lot of fun to read. I really, really enjoyed the main characters in this one. So this was sort of like a Grouchy meets Sunshine, but the Sunshine is actually like a Spitfire sort of situation, where the like male main character is supposed to teach kids how to play ice hockey because he is benched for a few games, and so this is supposed to be good for his image, I think. And then he meets the big sister of one of the little kids that he's supposed to teach, and they start arguing a lot, and it's a very cute romance in my eyes, one that I really enjoyed. And there was no spice in it, which made me enjoy it even more, because I felt like there didn't need to be any spice. There was no need for it, and it was still complete as a whole, and I really, really enjoyed that. Okay, the next one is probably the opposite in spice levels. Okay, not the complete opposite, but definitely spice there. It is The Right Move by Liz Tomfort. Now, I already talked about the first book in this series, which was Mile High, and I really enjoyed that, but the second book was even better. I really, 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 really love this. I really want to get the physical copy of this as well, just because I enjoyed them so much, and it just felt so nice. This was like truly an enemies to lovers romance, but with sports, and then she's all like, it was just so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. Then sticking with the whole hockey and ice hockey topic, we have Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. Now, this book was also just a whole lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. So this is like a childhood crush story type where she's been like obsessed with him, and then they meet again because he's new in the he's in a new team and he needs a new assistant because he had a lot of things to do. He has a dog that needs taken care of. So she's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do all the dog stuff. And of course this starts out as like the perfect romance where they both have a lot of angst and banters. What bothered me about this, and which is the reason why this isn't a 5-star read for me, is that there was a lot of miscommunication, especially in the end, that made it very, very hard for me to enjoy the book as much as I'd hoped I would. So that just was a little bit disappointing, but overall the book was still really, really good. And then sticking with the same author, we have the Queen's Cove series. I'm not going to talk about the books individually. I'm just going to say that I read this entire series. I read 2 books a day. This was so fun, so cute. They're like small town romances, all different kind of tropes. And it's just about all these brothers and like the friends and everybody. Everything is connected and it's so well thought out. I had a lot of fun reading this entire series and like diving deeper into this world with every book that was in it. Like this small town, I want to live there. I want to move to Queen's Cove. Like, please put me there. I want there. And then we have another ice hockey book. Who would have guessed? We have Pucking Around, this one. Now, this book is a little different, and it's definitely, I'm not sure if I would say it's beginner friendly on the spice level, because there is a lot. This is a book about a polyamorous relationship with 3 different ice hockey players that are all on one team, and a girl who is the hockey team's doctor. This was a lot of fun to read. I am trying to read a lot more diverse books, so reading about polyamorous relationships is very interesting to me, even though the concept just completely freaks me out. Like, I don't even want to be in a relationship with one person, let alone 3 people, but it's very nice to read about it because it's just a little different. Like, it has this whole wide shoes aspect in it, which I quite enjoy, and I actually understand, like, putting it in on a friendship perspective, you would want to be friends with multiple people, right? So why not in like the romance aspect? Anyway, that was this book, and we're now moving on to the last book that I'm going to talk to you about, which is Forever After All. Now, I made a story about this book because this was not what I was expecting. Okay, so this is a billionaire romance with a lot of dark twists and turns, and I was not expecting this book to be this emotional. Now, it might have been because I was on my period when I read this and I was just crying the whole time, but I still found it very, very, very sad, and that was just very unexpected. I didn't expect it, okay? So this is technically a fake dating, or rather a marriage of convenience kind of story, which these kinds of stories always make me emotional because the fake dating, there is this one point where it gets real, and if there is a tiny bit of miscommunication there, then this can all go into flames, and then they don't talk to each other, and then they have this complete point where they're both in angst because they're scared they're not like in love with the other person, and that concept makes me so extremely sad that I cry. And I think that is the main reason why this book was so emotional for me, because I was so sad that they were not going to tell each other that they loved each other, which they did, obviously, but both of them were just saying like, I'm not sure if the other person loves me, and I was like, yes they do. I'm sorry, this is making me emotional even though it's been almost 4 days since I finished that book. I have issues, I know. Anyway, that was it. That were all of the books that I read in the last 2 months. Well, not all of them, but the best ones. So I'm just gonna end this video right here. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you pick up a book, and I will see you next time. Bye! Okay, so for today's book recommendation, who would have guessed we have Love Theoretically? If you haven't picked up an Ali Hazelwood book before, these books are so nice. They're always about like a person, like people in STEM, and like especially women in STEM who are scientists, doctors, anything. Mostly scientists trying to get their PhD, which very relatable actually. I mean, I'm not trying to get my PhD, but well, these are actually pretty fun to read, and I'm almost certain that you're gonna enjoy this one as well if you enjoyed the first one. And since this is my personal favorite, I would say it's even better than the first book. But yeah, pick it up if you see it anywhere, and I will see you for the next video. Bye!